Alf Talbot was a very good friend of ours. He was a logger and ran a small tug and barge operation. Along with his wife Helen, they worked the coast of British Columbia for many years. We would often join them in the small community of Matsqui where they had their home, and Helen would serve us her freshly baked butter tarts and very strong coffee. We talked of the early glory days of logging and many other subjects. Sometimes he would throw in the forest gorillas. We thought that was his humor. We didn't realize he was talking about the Sasquatch. In hindsight, we wish we would have engaged him more on that subject. The story of Alf and Helen Talbot could be 2 or 3 books. You would be hard-pressed to find a more connected, hard-working couple. They were salt of the earth and deeply sincere. Their conviction for work brought them to places like Ramsay Arm. Ramsay Arm, of course, is up the coast above the 50th parallel in British Columbia. It's remote. It's where they began their logging days. The Talbots worked with conviction. They loved to travel, bringing them to remote areas like Butte Inlet as well established as a place for Sasquatch sightings and encounters, supposedly. Now, the Talbots could be considered Geopo loggers. Before you think that's a derogatory term, it simply means independent. If you're a long-time viewer, you might ask yourself, why are we telling this story now? Well, as luck would have it, we ran into someone who knew them very well. In fact, one of their closest friends, and he told us precisely what Alf meant by the forest gorillas. We will call Alf's friend J.M. J.M.'s role in Alf's life was repairing much of the hardware, the cat, the trucks, that sort of thing. So they spent many hours together. Alf told him of these creatures that would come during the night after they had logged. So after falling trees, the creatures would raise a ruckus, howling and yelling in the forest line. Of course, it sounds preposterous, but these people will not fabricate a story for entertainment purposes. They're just not that kind of people. It also should be noted they know the difference between wolves, wolverines, coyotes, that sort of thing. So it was definitely something unusual. Alf said he spotted them a few times. They were shadowy, kind of stayed behind the tree line, and whooping and yelling, this sort of thing carried on for many weeks. They never got a real clear view of them. But if Alf said it, we can guarantee you it did happen. So, in all the time we have talked to loggers on this coast, few, in fact, next to none, have told us a story about a Sasquatch encounter, and that includes hunters. Now, to be clear, just because we have not spoken with hunters who claim encounters does not mean they're not out there. In fact, if you peruse YouTube, you will find countless stories of hunters having encounters, sightings, and even shooting at the Sasquatch. Whether those stories are true or not is entirely up to your perception and if you believe that person is being truthful. But I digress. JM told us of another location where Alf had encounters with these Sasquatch forest gorillas, that being Butte Inlet, a place where we spent plenty of time with our families in the early days hunting and fishing. It is by any measure spectacular. You might want to Google it to take a look-see. It is a place where you could imagine Sasquatch could remain unmolested, undetected for a very long time, and maybe even today. We realize what we have told you is vague and second-hand information, but we can state, if Alf said it, you know it's true. He was not a man to create false information or fiction. He was a grounded, deeply profound fellow who had a connection to nature like few do today. Now, we believe there are others out there with similar stories, but why share them? Is it in their interests? Likely not. They would certainly not have monetary gain. They don't desire fame and fortune. They simply want to let it rest. If you know someone that was a pioneer, or a logger, or a fisherman that wants to talk with us, we would like to talk with them. We guarantee confidentiality and discretion. Your privacy will be respected. So that about sums it up. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Monster of the Woods, and we look forward to bringing you much more. Remember, friends, until next time, eyes open, cameras ready. Over and out.